Terrence t-shirt, as you can see, we always look forward to every event where we have to meet and we gossip and we talk about politics and football and soccer and then watch CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, trying to understand what politicians are talking about and not making any money. There was one time I want to share with you. I was so angry that I used to be a Chelsea fan. I'm still a Chelsea fan. We lost again. And my wife brought food. And I was so angry that she brought me food. Did I ask you that I want to eat? I'm not hungry. Guys, I was hungry. But we lost the game. And I was angry at my family when those players who lost the game, they still got paid. And I was killing myself. So my question for you, what do you do at your spare time? I know you say you don't have spare time. Yes, you do. When you come back from work, what do? You lie down on your couch, watch TV, relax. That's your spare time. There are some people that come back from their job and then they go back to work again. Just like Nick Bosley said at the convention. I want you to listen to Nick Bosley's speech at the convention. The two farmers. Listen to that presentation and you understand what I'm saying. Somebody shared with me a life-changing opportunity, World Financial Group, that I should get my license and give it a try. If you do this business 3 years or below, you can average 72,000. If you do this business full-time, 4 to 7 years, you can average 250,000. And if you do this business full-time for about 10 years, you can average 500,000 if you take it seriously. I give it a try. In 2024, $1.4 billion was paid out to the field. $1.4 billion with a B. And that same 2024, of the $1.4 billion, only 92 million was paid out to Legacy Star, Team Legacy Star. So what happened to the 1.3 billion plus? Do you guys see why we're still a minority? Only $92 million was paid out to Team Legacy Star. As of 2025, 129 billion was paid out. Our goal this year is 200 billion. Like with 200 million. 129 million was paid out. Not a B. $1 million. Our goal this year is $200 million we paid out to Team Legacy Star. And we assume you are going to be part of it. You'll be part of that 200 billion to be paid out in 2026. Who is paying us? These are the companies in the US. Pacific Life has been in business more than 140 years. Trans-America more than 130 years. Prudential more than 130 years. Nationwide is on your side. They just clocked 100 years this year. They lived through the Great Depression. And that are the companies we do business with. These are companies from Canada, and yes, they pay us commissions. So when you help more people, you make more money. I want you to take a look at the two tables on the right-hand side. The one with one leg, when you break it off, the table will collapse. The one with 4 legs, when you break one leg, the other 3 legs are going to keep the table wobble by standing up. So I want you to think of the table as your life and the legs as your income streams. Set yourself with multiple streams of income so that your life doesn't collapse if one fails. And that's the reason I'm sharing this with you today. That you don't need any overtime. You don't need any second job. You need a 1099 business because you want to reduce your income taxes. Take this business seriously. And yes, I'm speaking from experience. The first year I took this business seriously, I was supposed to owe IRS. But because I had a 1099 business, when I factored that in, I had a tax return. Because you have more business expenses, which passes on to your personal expenses because you have passed through business. And that's the reason why I'm encouraging you to take this seriously, not just your W-2. Have a 1099 business and build that business using your part-time, because someday that part-time business will become your full-time business and you no longer need W-2 from anybody. You become your own boss. And yes, you can start spare time, you can start part-time, and you can also start full-time. Those who do spare time, they make average of 2,000 a month. Those who do part-time, they truly make average of 5,000 a month. And those who truly do full-time, they go above 20,000 a month. We get paid 9 times in a year, in a month. Every Tuesday, every Friday, 9 times every month. So take 9 multiplied by 12. That's how many times we get paid. And these are the champions that have been paid in the month of May. Congratulations, champions. We don't have the month of June updated yet, but I can assure you by Monday next week, you have the month of June. So let's take a look at these numbers. A former nurse currently now made over 300,000 in the month of June alone. Look at this powerful lady, Bella, $126,000 in the month of May alone. All this, look at number 1, number 2 nurse, number 3 nurse, number 4 nurse, number 5, a pastor, number 6 nurse, number 7 nurse. So if you are on this call and you are a nurse, this is your story. If you are a nurse on this call, you have no reason to fail. Because even number 10, right here, Robert Miano, who is an attorney, $99,000. Look at number 17, Pascal Binder, $73,000. That was not even up to my annual income as a professor. Take a look at number 19, $66,000. And I'm sharing this because I don't mean to scare you, but I just want you to know my first commission was $93. And somebody told me, that person said, someday you convert your annual income to your monthly income. I believe that person. And that person is Daniel Fumble. Someday, if you take this business seriously, your annual income at your job will become your monthly income. And today, it is more than that. Take a look at number 36 on the call, Mary Sapon, $39,000 in 1 month. Number 22, Daniel Igara, $54,000 in 1 month. My own elder sister, Irene Fumble, $47,000 in 1 month. The great Dr. Bitska, $43,000 in 1 month. A former professor like myself, making all this money in 1 month. You too can change your story. Yes, you can. You too can change your story. Yes, you can. I want you to look at number 70. Number 70 on this call. $27,000 in 1 month. I want you to look at a marketing director, Olarenwaju Oyerinka, $28,000. Marketing director, Joshua, $29,000. Marketing director, Valentine Nwachukwu, $28,000. Marketing director, Jennifer Igara, $26,000. Marketing director. I'm just asking you to believe and take a leap of faith, because someday this will be your story. Number 83, Dominic Che, $25,000. Number 100, Melvis, $22,000. Let's go to number 200. Number 200, Obi, $12,000 in 1 month. Working for yourself. Our own speaker today, Janet Banjoko, who is speaking in a few minutes, $13,000 in the month of May alone. You too can change your story. So you have to believe and you have to take action. My question for you, what if your goal is just 2,000 a month during this spare time? I told you, if you seriously take this serious and do spare time, you can make 2,000 a month. So what if it's just 2,000 a month? What if it's 5,000 a month or 7,000 a month? This is number 400 on the call. Number 400, 6,400 in 1 month. As you can see on your right hand side, this is Pascal Binder, Associate Professor, Savannah State University, working for the state of Georgia. This is 6,700. Now, if you look at that money, this is gross. You have to remove $800 for health insurance. You have to remove federal and state taxes. You have to remove social security benefit. And then you look at the balance was about 3,500. That was the net. Everyone ends up poor because they don't understand how the system works. You are on this call not by chance. Somebody cares about you. That person wants you to take this opportunity seriously and go change your own story, because I'm sharing with you my own story. Yes, you can, and yes, you will. If you take a look at this, what would an extra 5,000 do for you? This is 5,000 in 1 month. Number 500 on the call, making 5,000 in 1 month. What will an extra 5,000 do for you? 5,000. What if it's 3,000? 3,000 a month. This is number 700. 3,600 in 1 month. 2 years ago, when we used to run these numbers, it was about $500 at this point. But now we're at 3,000. I think 1 year ago, it was about $500 at this point. We got to number 1,000 on the call, and it was about 300. But if you look at number 1,000 today, it is 2,000. I told you, spare time doing this business, you can easily make $2,000 every month, spare time. My goal for you is for you to go for 10,000. Go for 10,000, you see yourself making 5,000, 2,000, 6,000. WFG is the best platform. Why? Because we have a lot of advantages. It is the best with all the wonderful companies we work with. Companies that have been in business for more than 100 years. Yes, companies that have been in business for more than 100 years. Why are we the best? Because when I started, this was those making above 750,000. I started in 2019. But today, take a look at those who are millionaires in the business. So I always tell my friends, WFG is like the United Nations. Everybody can win here. You have a chance to win here. You don't need any degree. You don't need any special requirement. All you need is the heart to help others. And yes, you can win. We even have Hall of Famers, 18 millionaires from Legacy Star, 18 and counting. And we have the next millionaires popping out. From this list, we already have 2 or 3 out already. We already have Cecilia, we already have Robert, and we already have Bella out. The question is, who is next? So if you're on this call and you see your leader right on the screen, text your leader right there. Text your leader. What do I do to make sure our team become a millionaire team by December? Text your leader right away. Because you know why? You have to move up for them to move up. That means you have to go and help more families and go get your own promotion for them to hit that milestone. Because when you help other people, you are also blessed. That's why I said WLG is working for God. And yes, you want to be millionaires, you will be millionaire. It starts with your heart. Everybody wishes to be there at the beginning, but only a few are willing to start. And the best thing you should know is if you want to make the wrong decision, go and ask everybody. The best person to call after this is the one that invited you, the one that shared this link with you, because we are getting paid tomorrow again. Every Tuesdays and every Fridays, we're getting paid. That is why we're the best agencies. They give us bonuses from training associates. There's a personal activity bonus for you making above 10,000 points with one new team member. So I want to challenge you to go and get that 10,000 points this month. The month of July is on already. Go and push yourself and win for your family. Don't win for anyone else, but go win for your family. We have ownership because you own your book of business. You get vested in the company from marketing director and up. And you know what? I was in Egypt for 2 weeks. I still made over $70,000 that month. You know what that means? You can run your business anywhere. That's why we are the best. Because right now, Aegon is going public here in the United States, and we are part of it. And yes, you can own Aegon stocks when you are with this organization. You can pass on your company to your family members. Your spouse can become beneficial to your business code. I'm retired. My spouse cannot use my PhD. My spouse cannot use my MBA. We can't use my wife's nursing degree. So they are all done and dusted. But in this company, you own it and you can pass it on to your kids and your grandchildren. And that is the reason why we go to conventions with our children so they start learning the business while they're still young. So they fall in love with it. And the best part, you do business in US and in Canada, and you can run your entire organization from home. The best thing you should note is it costs only $125 to get your business ID. There's an online course for $200, but we give you a discount. You only pay $30 for that online course. You can study and go pass your exam in 2 days. Yes, I said 2 days. Call the one that invited you, ask them how you get started, and let's move the train, because this is all we have done. We haven't even started yet because we still have a lot of work to do. Take a look at the untapped potential out there. Yes, you can. And you can also qualify for the Red Shoe Club. I know you're asking, but what do we really do? I'll be sharing that in a minute. Like I said before, a 1099 comes with a lot of tax deductions. We have vacations. We just came from Hawaii. We went to Cancun last year. My question is, we went to the cruise. We have the next cruise coming up after the NLA graduation. My question is, are you going to be on that next cruise? Are you ready to go on that next cruise to go change your own family? Yes, you can. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I speak to you, there are many of us asking the question, what do we really do for families? How do we get paid? In the words of Robert Kiyosaki, one of the reasons the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and the middle class struggles in debt is because the subject of money is taught at home, not at school. I went to school all the way, and what we share was never taught to me in school. So if you're on this call, it's not a mistake. The person who invited you really cares about you. We live in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, US and Canada. You can work all your life and still retire poor. We do so much for our kids just to see them finish college with lots of debt. The biggest expense for the average American and Canadian families are interest and taxes. And the worst thing is that these expenses put money in someone else's pocket. Understanding how money works is part of taking care of your family. We all want a comfortable retirement, yet we have no plan. So you know what? There's nobody more interested in your future than you. It is your responsibility to understand money, to understand how money works, and to take care of your families. And that is the reason why collectively our mission is no family left behind. We want to help everybody. There are three ways money grows. The first one says fixed. Fixed has protection. You don't lose. It doesn't really grow as much. The second says variable. Variable has no protection and you can grow a lot. And the last one is index. Index has growth and protection. We're going to digest all three separately. We get the fixed from the banks, like your bank savings and checking accounts. We get variable from different accounts like 401k, 403b. And you can get the index from financial professionals like one of us. And that's the reason I want you to understand. This is $15,000. As you can see, 2020, 2021, it never went below 15,000. It was 15,061 cents, and that was August of 2020, 15,048 cents. January of 2021, $15,001.10. Do you see that? That's why you look at all the cents that were added. That money is there, it doesn't grow, but at least it's protected. So if you only want protection with no growth, this is for you. What about variable? Variable can grow so fast. Like it went up right here and it went back down to negative. This is the initial startup. It went below that. And it went back up and then boom. Am I saying it's bad? No. There are different risk tolerance for individuals. People have to understand the different risk tolerance because everybody is different. But they have to understand which is which, and you decide for yourself. And that's why we educate families to understand why you need to diversify your portfolio. Warren Buffett says you cannot put all your eggs in one basket. Take a look at this. This is 250,000, and it went up, as you can see, to 374. Then the dot-com crash happened in the 2000, and it went down back to 225. That is negative because it was 250. The market is up, and now you're playing catch up. You're playing catch up, about to get out of the hole. The market crash again. The housing market crash of 2008. That was when I just came out of graduate school with my PhD. I saw how people were losing money in the US and in the entire world because the market was down due to the real estate crash. It went down to 232. 250,000 10 years ago became 232,000 10 years after. If they told this person that that money may be lower than 250 in 10 years, they will never accept. Do you know why? Because the average people always say the market always average 8 to 9%. But there's something you lack. The average return and the actual return are never the same when there's a minus. Write it down. The average return and actual return are never the same because this number represents actual number. Even though the average is 8, 9, the actual is below. You are in a loss. Everyone ends up poor because they don't understand how the system works. And that's the reason why you have to understand why you should index your money. There's something you should understand. The benefits of indexing your money, I call it asset shifting. You can shift your assets around from variable to index. You can shift some of it, like we do 401k rollovers. When you index your money, you get bonuses, 10 to 30% bonus, and your amount of money avoids probate, as you can see right here. So if you're on this call and you have 401k at your previous job, I have a question for you. Are you okay leaving your money with your ex for your ex to manage the funds for you? Because that's what is happening when you leave your money in your former company. Move that money into index annuities and index the money. For example, the 401k thrift plan for the Federal Reserve covering 22,000 employees has 72% of its assets that's 3.2 billion, invested in fixed income fund, which is invested exclusively in annuity contracts underwritten by major US life insurance companies, guaranteeing the principal and a fixed interest rate. Do you know when every company start collapsing, the last one standing are insurance companies? Do you know that? Do you know why governments insure themselves also? Because the insurance companies insure governments. They keep them standing. They keep the banks afloat. And that's the reason why businesses, they make sure they leverage the strength of insurance companies. And that's the reason why every family will understand the importance of protection. Even if they are built, they protect what they have built because they don't want to start from scratch. You are not here by chance. You have to learn how to protect what you have built so you don't have to start from scratch ever again. Because if you don't, someday you will just be crying. I wish I listened to that guy, Pascal, who was speaking someday about the importance of protection. By the way, Albert Einstein says compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. If you understand, you earn it. You don't understand, you pay. Have you asked yourself why? You bought a house in Atlanta, Georgia for 500,000. You paid that house over 30 years. You have paid more than $1 million for a $500,000 house. Have you looked up 15-year options? Most of us don't. And that is the issue. I want you to understand how you can change your story. Why did they only push 30-year mortgage to us? Why? Why not 15? Why not 10? Why not even 5? You should be asking those questions. So ask yourself, you have that student loan, it was $50,000. 5 years after, your student loan balance is $55,000. Even though you have been making some payments, why? It's compounding against you. I used to have some money in the bank. I look at it, the money was not working for me. It wasn't growing. Imagine you have 100,000, you put that money in an account that gives you simple interest for 0.1%. But what if you can compound at 10%? It's good to always see an option. In year one, they give you $100, but if that money can compound at 10%, you get 10,000. What if you can make that, or something close to that, or even something more? You just have to think outside the box. What if it's 5 years after you make extra $500 on the left, but on the right is extra $61,000? Take a look at 20 years after, 2,000 only extra, but over 500,000 on the right as extra money. Do you see what they mean by time is money? Yes, time is money. Take a look at 30 years after and 40 years after. So my question for you, if you have money saved somewhere, would you prefer simple or compound? What if it's uninterrupted compounding? What if it is index compounding? Are you okay with that? Index means you have protection plus growth and it's compounding for you without a market loss. Won't you be happy to do that? The first day I understood the power of compounding, it was mind blowing because I asked myself, I was working at my job, making $50,000 a year. If I have to make 100,000 and they only pay me 2% raise, and they even say they give you 2%, the average was 1 point something percent. I'm just being generous, 2%. I took my phone and I applied the rule of 72. So I went to my phone, as you can see, I type in 72 right there, and I divide by the 2% raise, divide by 2, and that'll be what? 36. So it will take 36 years for me to move from 50,000 a year to 100,000 a year. That was when I knew I'm not going to make it at my job. So my question for you, have you applied the rule of 72 for your job? How many years will it take for you to double your income at your job based on the raise they give you every year? For me, it was 36 years to move up to 6-figure income. Today, I'm already making 7-figure income, 7 years in this business. What does that tell you? You have unlimited potentials in you. Don't let anybody talk you out of that unlimited potential you have. Don't let anybody try to weigh you down and make you see limitations. Because when you accept those limitations, someday you die a chicken. You can power what's possible for your families. And I want you to understand you can change your story someday. I want us to look at some tax codes right here that the middle class are familiar with. 408, 401k, 403b, all these tax codes, we all know them. Most of us know these tax codes. But did you also know that these tax codes are all designed in variable? What about the tax code that the elites use, that the elites understand? Like tax code 7702B for long-term care solutions. Have you ever noticed that when you have long-term care solutions already, you are legit? How many of us have long-term care plan already in place? Do you know that the federal government and the state government, they protect that long-term care account you have? Do you know that? Because they know when you have it, then you will not depend on them. Then you can take care of yourself when you are old. Because it's a when, not if. All of us are going to be old someday. So I want us to plan for old age. And when you plan for old age, you must plan for long-term care. And this is the tax code 7702B. And yes, you can go Google it. Tax code 72E, how your plan grows tax deferred, or tax code 7702, how it grows tax free as well. Tax code 171A, how you can transfer money tax free to your generations. I call it generational wealth. The biggest tax code in America that is used to build wealth tax free and transfer wealth tax free is tax code 101A. That's why somebody is making $100,000 every year can transfer $5 million to their grandchildren tax free. Because why? They apply these tax codes. And we also spoke about annuities 575. And did you know all these tax codes are designed in index? So my question for you, which of the tax codes are you implementing for your families? Because there are different tax advantage strategies. One of them is tax code 408A. They also call it Roth IRA. This tax code is available to everybody, but only a few people know about it. But did you know that you can only put 7,500 a year? Yes, based on 2026 numbers. If you are above 50 years of age, you can put 8,500 a year. So what if you want to put 50,000? You cannot. 20,000, you cannot. Those are limitations that the rich don't like. But do you also know there's another tax code 7702, that allows you to put unlimited amount of money? I want you to go to Forbes and just search the rich man's Roth. They also call this the rich man's Roth on the right, because the Roth on the left is for the poor and middle class. They can control how much you put. But the Roth on the right, which is tax code 7702, which some people refer to as the rich man's Roth, you can put unlimited amount of money. I've seen people put 300K in a year, 200K in a year, 100K in a year, 50K in a year, 20K in a year comfortably. And do you also know you can have both? We don't want you to limit your options. We want you to have multiple options. That's what I talk about diversification. But if you don't know, you cannot have it. I never knew it existed. And that is the reason why we share with everybody on this call. Do you know that on the left is variable, on the right is index? Yes, on the left is variable, on the right is index. You can choose, but choose wisely. What about advanced planning for your children? Most of us only think of college. I was my daughter today looking at her tuition for next school year and everything, and I was like, wow. I also think about her first business. So which company are you going to start? Oh yeah, she already has a license with us. So, oh, that's your first company. Oh, when are you going to start your LLC? I'm thinking about her own companies and stuff. But most of us think about college alone. And if you think about college, there's 529 plan. That's the tax code 529. It's meant for college. So what about your child's wedding? It's not for wedding. What about your child's school? Yes, it's for school. But what if the child wants to be like Mark Zuckerberg, drop out of college, wants to start a business? Can you use the money for business? There's a penalty. And you have to pay back the taxes they gave you tax break on. You see how it's limited? The rich don't want people to control them on how they can spend their money. And that's the reason why the rich use another option, tax code 7702, to also plan for their children. They use this tax code to plan for themselves, and they also use the same tax code to plan for their own children. On the left, it is variable. On the right, it is indexed. You can have both. My advice, choose wisely. And there's something you should understand about America. Wealth transfer is not taught in school. Wealth preservation is not taught in school. There's something called probate. The number one cause of GoFundMe WhatsApp group in our community is the probate court. I want you to listen to me. The number one cause of GoFundMe WhatsApp group in our community is the probate court system. It's not because the people do not work hard. It's not because they are broke. It's because something happened to their accounts because of probate court. So, why do people do GoFundMe? A wedding party is not one of them. A graduation is not one of them. A birthday party is not one of them. When somebody is sick or when somebody dies. So, what is probate? The government's plan when you die if you don't have a plan. That's the way I digest it. They already have a plan for you to take care of all your bills using your assets. So, what plan do you have for your own children to make sure they are not broke when you are gone? And I like to always talk about this because this is the most important part. If you look at these pictures, you see people that care about their families. They were hardworking spouses, fathers, mothers, grandfathers, grandmothers. Some of them were working 2 jobs. Some of them did overtime, but they never thought of the day they will not be in this world. And because of that, their families are left with debts, bills, whether it's from accident, for sickness, or is a car wreck that resulted in death. But yes, they work hard. And this will not be your portion because why? We want you to have a plan. What account do you have that can grow and bypass the probate court system? Your checking account goes through probate. Your savings goes through probate. Your CD, 401k, IRA, Roth IRA stocks, they go through probate. Annuities protected from probate from day one. Life insurance protected from probate from day one. 529 municipal bonds, they go through probate. I met this lady who told me how the brother passed away, and the brother had over 100,000 in the bank savings, but they were begging for $10,000 to bury the brother, who had a lot of money. I saw a GoFundMe for this IT guy working 2 jobs, who makes a lot of money, and I was asking myself, this guy that makes over 350,000, why are they begging for money? It might be the same situation. That 401k that you thought was yours, tomorrow might not be managed by you because they have to pay your student loan. That same student loan that's giving you a headache today, somebody will have to pay them on your behalf. The taxes you owe this year, because all of us, we are not paid taxes for 2026 because we are not filed tax return. So they will have to calculate how much you owe first in taxes, whether you owe or not. That's why it takes time. So are you going to wait for 2 years before you bury your uncle or your aunt or your dad or your mom because of probate? And you only get money if there's any left over after they have paid your credit card and student loan and taxes and bills, telephone bill, electricity, everything. Everyone ends up poor because they don't understand how the system works. I want you to understand this lady came to a call like this, and she saw how life insurance doesn't go through probate. And she said, I want to have life insurance. And she got the $1.6 million life insurance. Unfortunately, she passed away while she was coming back from work. Something good came out of a bad situation. Her family got a check, all tax free. Tax code 1018. Remember, I told you the 1.6 million plus the cash of 18,000. Everything went to the family members tax free. The spouse, the mom, the kids, the sisters and brothers, the dad, the in-laws, they were all still taken care of. The 401k went through probate. The IRA went through probate. The bank savings went through probate. But the family did not do GoFundMe. Do you know why? Because the lady had an account that can bypass probate court. So if you don't have an account like that, I'm sorry to say, you are on the GoFundMe list. Our goal is to help you set up one for yourself based on what you can afford. We go through needs analysis. We have different options, different types, because life insurance is the last thing that people want to talk about, but it's the first thing that people check when a loved one dies. Do you know that in our community alone, we have helped over 80,000 families just in the past 5 years alone? Do you also know that we have been able to build over $38 billion in wealth in our community? Someday, our children and grandchildren will sit down and be discussing about this moment. And your own children will not even be able to remember your name. Oh, that my papa, my father was in that meeting. But he quit, he stopped. He didn't have nothing. Look at all my friends that way used to go to that meeting. They're all millionaires, they're all owning businesses. I couldn't because you know what? My father gave it up. I thought he was with them. My grandfather never did anything. My grandma told my grandfather to stop that thing. I don't know what those people did. Those will be your stories. Because this 38 billion will end up in those grandchildren pockets, bank accounts, businesses, last name forever. That is how you secure your last name. You want to be the Odugu of your community. This is it right here. Be wealth that can last for generations. So they'll always remember you, not by mouth, but by action. You say you love your spouse, but there's nothing for your spouse. There's nothing for you, but you love your spouse. Do you see why we don't follow our mouths, our words with actions? 38 billion in our community with a B. Why? My job is to ask you about life insurance. Please don't make it my job to tell your loved ones they don't have any. The number one cause of poverty is sickness, critical and chronic illness. Take a look at these numbers. Stroke, heart attack, cancer, they are very common in our community. My question for you, when was the last time you saw somebody who was diagnosed with one of these? I want to reflect. Can you remember the financial burden they went through, the financial pain they went through? My next question, what if that was you? Do you see why we care about you? Do you see why the person that invited you wanted you to learn this yourself? So my last question for you, what account do you have right now that can take care of your family just in case you cannot go to work because of critical or chronic illness? Do you have long-term care solutions that I talked about? Tax code 7702B. Do you know that it is cheapest to get your life insurance with long-term care rider than getting a standalone long-term care rider? Do you know that? Do you know why? Because you just have a death benefit in case you never have to use the long-term care. That money pays out to your family. There's something in our community that people don't understand. It is income replacement. I call it income replacement account. Your life insurance can offer living benefits and long-term care. Some come with critical illness rider, some come with chronic illness rider, some come with long-term care rider. You have to qualify. All of it, they come with terminal illness rider. You qualify for it. Do you know why? Because tomorrow is not guaranteed. And I'm speaking to you right now. I'm not feeling very well. But I don't make excuses. I'm sure you heard from my voice. It's been like a week. But I want you to understand, you and you alone can change your story. You have the decision to make, not your spouse, not your dad, not your mom, not your children. You. Because when you're lying down here someday and you see how you're losing your house, the house you worked so hard for, forgetting that you don't own the house, you own the mortgage. You have not paid off your house. In America, even when you pay off your house, you don't pay your taxes, they can seize the house from you. If you pay your house and you pay your taxes and you don't pay your HOA can seize the house from you. American system is not the system in Ghana or the system in Cameroon or the system in Nigeria or the system in Jamaica. They are different. And you have to learn the system in America. Do you see why everyone ends up poor? And that's the reason I'm sharing the story of this beautiful lady, Grace. She was working so hard, doing everything right, praying to God all the time, but she got sick. She had cancer. She did everything possible, but she still got sick. Something good came out of a bad situation. She got a check over $947,000. So I have a question for you. Have you saved $947,000 right now? Have you saved $500,000 right now? Have you saved $200,000 right now? Do you see why everyone ends up poor? Because we live paycheck to paycheck. Do you see why you have the chance to understand leverage? This 947,000 was not her money. It is leverage money from the life insurance. Leverage is what separates the rich from the poor. And that same leverage is what separates the rich from the wealthy. She understood she didn't have the money in her bank account, but she can buy her future. So she had living benefits up to $1.5 million. And she got this check from Transamerica. She paid off her nice house, $1 million mansion, her nice Range Rover car. Man, you can sleep in that car. I love it. And she's still powering her family's lifestyle. You can power what's possible even when you're on your sick bed. You may not be able to lose your house because you set up a plan today. Nobody knows tomorrow. You have that peace of mind because you know you're taking care of your family. Again, my job is to ask you if you have life insurance, but please don't make it my job to tell your loved ones that you didn't have the living benefits or long-term care. If you think that education is expensive, wait until you see how much ignorance can cost. Because this same lady who was making a lot of money, way more than the nurse, she was a nurse practitioner. Her life insurance policy was approved, and she's called back and said, I don't need it. I have a project back in Cameroon. I'm building a house for my mom. I don't think it's for me. I live in New York. I have Susu with my friends, $1,000 every month on Jangi and Susu. My friends and I, we contribute 1,000 every month, 12,000, we're good. Now she was sick, she was on dialysis. She got a letter from the job that she has been replaced because she couldn't come to work after a couple of months. And now those same Susu friends were doing GoFundMe. The cost of financial ignorance. She came back heavily. Can I still have that insurance policy? They gave me preferred before. And you know what happened? She was declined because people decline insurance because they are in good health and young. The insurance companies will decline people because they are sick and old. This will not be your portion. You work so hard, plan. Failure to plan is planning to fail. And the last I want to talk about, a friend of mine took this money out and paid for their mortgage. They took it from their life insurance and it's tax-free. Do you know how it's possible? Because of these tax codes. I told you, you and you alone can change your story. Just sit down and learn more about the different tax codes. That's the best place to start. So if you have life insurance from your job, it's owned by your job, not you. The owner is your job. It will end when you leave that job. And the one at the job does not have living benefit guarantee. You may have disability insurance, but short term is 3 months, long term is 6 months. Can disability insurance give you 900,000 tax free? Never, never, never. You know why? Because you and you alone can choose what you are worth. So my question for you is, what are you worth? Take a look at this. If you have term, it's temporary, it will expire. I used to have a 20-year term. I live in America for 22 years now. You know what? The term policy is gone. I know this man who was paying the term policy with a credit card. He missed one payment. He didn't plan to miss. The credit card expired. He missed one payment. You know what happened? The policy lapsed. I know this lady who traveled to Africa, spent 2 months. She was supposed to be in Africa for just 2 weeks. But something happened. She stayed longer. By the time she came back to Indianapolis, the policy was gone. It lapsed. One missed payment. Everyone ends up poor because they don't understand how the system works. I know this friend of mine was sick in the hospital for months, and the policy was gone for one missed payment. And he passed away subsequently, but there was no life insurance policy because it lapsed. So if you are sitting down here thinking that this is for you, we can still help you if this is what you want. By the way, if you want a term, we prefer you get the term with living benefits. There are a few companies that have the term with living benefits. Whole life is also there for you. It covers for up to 100 years. You have to pay premiums for up to 100 years if you have the traditional whole life. And there's also the real deal. Call the one that invited you, ask about the universal life insurance. It is the real deal. We work with all different companies, Pacific Life, Prudential, Transamerica, Nationwide, AIG, etc. And these are companies from Canada, Avery. You can see all of them right here in front of us. La Capitale, you and you alone can change your story. Equitable Life of Canada is really, really good as well. And you know what? The best time to apply for life insurance for your children was yesterday when they were 2 weeks old. The best time for your spouse when you guys got married. The best time for you is right now. You know what? Because it was supposed to be yesterday, but it's already gone. So the next best time is now. I want you to understand. You can do more research, but get approved first. You may never be approved. The tomorrow you wait for may be the reason why you are declined. So get approved first and then you think about it. If you buy your car, you buy your home, they are all insured. What about your heart? What about your organs? What about your eyes? What about your ears? What about your legs? Your long-term care protects your knees because they may fail someday. I was in Hawaii someday. I was walking to the beach and I couldn't go back from the beach to my room. My ankle was swelling and my wife was holding me all the way to my room. Do you know why? I flew a lot before going to Hawaii and I had swollen legs and I couldn't walk, but it was all supposed to just rest and quiet. And I fully recovered. It just happened and then disappeared. Why am I sharing this to you? Because tomorrow is not guaranteed. Please take action. It is cheaper today, it's more expensive tomorrow. Speeding tickets may be the reason why they decline you. Your residency status may be the reason why they decline you. Or you get sick at some point. Money World Life Insurance teaches us what? Your life is very important. But did you know that even banks, they have life insurance asset? They call it asset, not liabilities. Did you know that even companies, they have life insurance assets? When will they die? So think about it. Do you think they have a term or they have a permanent? Do you get the point now? And that's why you have to think about your own options. Read and learn for yourself. I want you to understand your decision is based on you, and don't let anybody try to talk you out of that decision because this person got the policy approved, started the policy, but some lady from TikTok called them and said they should cancel the policy because the lady doesn't understand what she was saying. And they went ahead to cancel without knowing that the lady who was even telling them doesn't even have a license. Those who have a license, they can be held accountable. And all those talk show entertainers, they have freedom of speech. I am telling you, you and you alone should make that decision, not your spouse, but you and you alone. If your CPA wants you to cancel your policy, it's your own decision to cancel. Because those who say cancel the policy, can they write 100,000 check to you? No. Can they even write 10,000 check to you? No. So on the day you start the GoFundMe, they will not be there for you. I'm just telling you so you understand your options. You and you alone can change your own story. So don't allow anybody from TikTok, anybody who claims to be a CPA, who claims to understand more, ask them just one question. Why do banks and companies have life insurance? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring over one great gentleman, Mr. Valentine. I have two incredible speakers with us today. So I have this first speaker who will be speaking right now. This person's name is Mr. Valentine Ghana. He's an attorney at law, very smart accountant, corporate lawyer, super leader from Kansas City, from Kansas, originally from Cameroon. Is Valentine with us right now? Valentine,
yes, he is.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you. And yes, you can take it over, brother.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pascal Binder. That was a really powerful delivery. If you are on this platform tonight, if anybody has invited you to come see what we do for ourselves, for our families, for our community, then that person really cared about you. As he said, my name is Valentine Ghana. I came to the United States a pretty long time ago. Some of you guys were not even born. I've been in the United States for going 37 good and productive years. But seeing what is happening to our community, seeing leaders like Mr. Daniel Fumble take the helm and sacrifice their time, both Dr. Linda Fumble and Mr. Daniel Fumble, take the helm to educate our community about these financial tools, to transform our community, to ensure that our tomorrow is better than our today. It's kind of heroic. Daniel Fumble, if you really understand what he's doing and if you know the impact of what he's doing, looking at it prospectively or looking at it into the future, he's sort of the Moses of the Black financial world and beyond, because we are branching into other communities now. But I'm going to share my screen to tell you my personal story, to tell you my journey in the United States, to tell you how I got into this business, and to also tell you why you would be depriving yourself if you do not heed to the person who invited you here tonight. For the information you're hearing tonight is very, very transformative. So if you give me a minute, I'll just go ahead and share my slideshow here. Again, that's me when I try to be as trendy as some of you younger folks. Some of us who are north of 50 have to be a little trendy to catch up. I have a bachelor's of science in economics, accounting, and finance. I'm a systems engineer. I did my systems engineering way back in the early 2000s. I'm also a PMP certified professional, a program and a project manager. So I can go out there and basically make $175,000 to $250,000. Project manager, program manager with 18 years of experience, with a Juris Doctorate in law, you can really build yourself up there in corporate America. But why do I plant my flag in WFG? Why do I see WFG as where I can and should plant that mustard seed? Dr. Pascal Binder talked about compounding, and you hear that theme here quite a lot. By the way, if you invited your spouse, or if you are listening in your home and your spouse is at home and your spouse is not fully in this business, you need to turn around and tell your spouse, you are lovely in progress, because you are going to become completely lovely when you join WFG, because WFG is where it is. If you look at Mr. Pascal Binder, I know how much support and how much cooperation he gets from his wife. The miracle of Daniel and Linda Fumble is not lost. Uh, Francis Kimbeng, Lieutenant Kimbeng, same thing. So if you have your spouse in the house and your spouse is not fully in you with this business, don't forget to tell your spouse, you are lovely in progress. That's my wife, Dr. Nene Ghana, and with her, we have 4 beautiful kids. I chose this PowerPoint here for a reason. And the reason is that as a lawyer, I want to speak to our people about the privilege of being here in the United States. See, a lot of us who come from Africa, from Cameroon, from Togo, from Ghana, from Senegal, from Zimbabwe, from the DRC, we have constitutions that are pretty porous. And sometimes you can put your money in banks, in insurance companies, in financial institutions in Africa, and before you know it, the president appoints his cousin or his nephew, and the bank collapses. But we live in a country, or we are privileged to live in a country that is backed by a constitutional law that has existed since 1791. That has existed for about 250 years. Where these contracts specify that when it comes time for them to pay, these companies will pay. So the legal foundation of these instruments that we educate people about are pretty robust and pretty solid. Again, going back to the previous page, we work with about 100 financial and insurance companies that are A-grade. We are backed by Aegon. That is a company that has existed since 1884. For those of you guys who understand history, 1884 was when Africa was partitioned at the Berlin Conference. Aegon was formed in Holland. Aegon is worth north of $500 billion, and Aegon is one of the 9th largest institutions in the world. Imagine a company with that much power backing every financial instrument that we have our people subscribe to. Let me get my motion going right. Now, a little bit about me. 2 of the people that shaped my life most: my father, bottom right, and my mom. And my mom and my dad have been pillars in my life because they gave me a lot of love growing up. And what we do in this business is transfer the love we have in our hearts to our community. There's a hero of mine, apart from my mom and my dad, called Nelson Mandela. And Nelson Mandela is known for a lot of beautiful quotes. But one of his quotes I love the most is that the heart does things for reasons that reason cannot understand. So if you've been invited to this call tonight, don't try to reason it too much, because the benefits are going to be pretty outstanding. Now, when I left Cameroon in 1990 to move to the United States, I met with one of my teachers in high school. And he said something that was pretty significant, pretty profound, pretty in-depth. He said the United States of America is a country with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Take the good and stay away from the bad and the ugly. The person who invited you to this call tonight is somebody who believes that you deserve the good and the best that can come from the United States. So I came to here in 1990, went to college in Lincoln, Nebraska. First semester I was on honors. So the University of Lincoln, Nebraska chose me to represent the University of Nebraska during a 6-month program at the University of Senju, Tokyo. As you can see, I learned a lot about Japanese culture and Japanese business practices. And the Japanese are all about sacrifice. And to protect your family with these instruments is the highest calling of sacrifice that you will ever make. Again, I did my Bachelor's of Science in Economics, Accounting, and Finance at the University of Nebraska between 1990 and 1995. After I left from the University of Nebraska, I worked for Commerce Bank in Kansas City. I worked as an accountant between 1995 and 1998. But again, my friends at Commerce Bank used to tell me, the strong always move on and the weak always give up and stay. If you've been invited, remember that the person who invited you has seen strength in you. and knows that even by starting this opportunity part-time, you can muster something great for your family. So I left Commerce Bank, left accounting, and went into information technology. So some of you guys who are in IT, cyber security, network engineering, coding, and all of that, most of us who've been here for a long time have done that. 1999, I did my degree in network systems engineering, had a certification in that. 2001, software engineering certification. 2005, advanced test management certification. Then I became a manager in telecommunications engineering at Sprint. 2015, I became a PMP certified management professional. 2017, and I want to give kudos to the person who invited me into WFG, Ma Estella Tapong of Houston, my EMD. And she died out to me in 2017, but I was in law school. And in law school, they say you have to put bubble gum on your seat. Because if you waver, you will flunk out. So I just could not dial into the business there. 2019, even after law school, big money, or what I thought was big money, was calling me in corporate America, making 175K as a program manager. But at the end of 2019, I saw the situation of my kids. And I saw how my wife working as a pharmacist and me working a high-powered job, both as a lawyer and as a program manager, was letting the kids fall between the cracks. That is why I decided to answer this call with WFG. Because WFG was going to give me that time I needed to train my kids, to pass values. So if you've been invited and you have kids or you plan to have kids, this is where you need to be to ensure that you optimize the benefits to your kids. Again, that is graduation from law school in 2019 here. Now, there's a picture I'm going to show here because what we do is advocacy. So even while I was in law school, for those of you guys who are from Ambazonia or Cameroon, whatever persuasion, I was traveling and advocating for peace to come to that country. That's me here with Senator Dick Durbin, the senior senator in the Democratic Party from Chicago. Again, this business is a business of the heart and the head. And the heart does things indeed for reasons that reason cannot understand. Now, if you are here and you do not specifically know where your financial life is going, remember this. If you don't know where you're going, you're most likely to end someplace else. Again, life is by design, sometimes punctuated by sprinkles of good fortune, but life is never by chance. So as you leave this call tonight, you have to design your life. Now, we educate people about the 5 steps to building wealth. You can build wealth by creating income, by working. You can create wealth by developing passive income, which Dr. Pascal Binder really hammered on when she talked about compounding, where if you are getting that 2% raise a year by rule of 72 divided by 2, it's going to take you 36 years to double your income. However, if inflation is 4% a year, the cost of living, again, 72 divided by 4, that is 36 divided by 2. The cost of living is doubling every 18 years while your salary is waiting for 36 years to double. Again, I'm not going to belabor that too much because Dr. Pascal Binder already handled that. Again, we teach people how to grow money. We educate them about fixed, variable, and index options, which Dr. Pascal Binder again really hammered. We teach people how to protect their wealth from risk of income loss, market downturn, inflation, and risk from taxes. Again, I'm not going to belabor that. He did an excellent job explaining all of that. And then we ensure that people know how to transfer wealth, guaranteed legacy transfer wealth tax-free, which is what upper middle class and the elites in America utilize to transfer their wealth. So if you are here on this call and you see a lot of Africans and foreigners on here and you're thinking, maybe this is just an African thing, you would be dead wrong. Because these instruments are the ones that the elites use to transfer their wealth. I'm going to tell you something. In the 80s, Ronald Reagan wanted to banish a lot of these instruments that transfer wealth tax-free, that give the rich an advantage. He couldn't do it. Why is that? Because these instruments that we educate people about do not happen just because of the benevolence or generosity of some of these companies. They happen because they passed a law in 1913. These laws created the 7702 accounts, which the rich are privy to, but the middle classes and the lower income classes are not privy to. As you can see, these benefits do not only allow them to pass money tax-free, they cover them for critical illness, chronic illness, long-term care, and all of that. Now, I have to tell you this. I had a gentleman on my team. This was about 3 years ago. Let's just call him Kenny. Kenny lived in California. Another agent on my team wrote Kenny a policy for $500,000. They told Kenny, take that policy because they approved him, but they gave him not the best rate because they saw something in his blood that was a little iffy. Kenny says, no, I want to shop around and I want to get a better policy. Now, the agent on my team who wrote that policy is a pastor. He goes, Kenny, you got to take this. You never know what might happen. Kenny said, no, he doesn't want to shop around. Time waits for nobody. 1 month later, Kenny calls the pastor. Pastor, can we go ahead and approve that policy right now? Pastor says, wait a minute. What happened? A month ago, you didn't want to approve this policy. Now you're hot on your heels wanting to approve this policy. Kenny said, I collapsed at home. They rushed me to the ER. They did some scans and they realized that I have a tumor in my head. Pastor goes, I cannot accept that policy right now because that information of those scans in the hospital has already gone into the medical digital registry. If I do that, it will be violating the code in this company, the code in this business, and my license. If you are on this call and you're not covered, don't wait for too many examples because a wise person learns from experience, but a wiser person learns from a wise person's experience. Do we just do policies? Do we just do insurance? No. As you can see this, we also do annuities. What is an annuity? It's a financial retirement account that does a lot. But most importantly, it prevents you from losing a dime of your money at retirement. This is a client of mine, brings 700K. We create an annuity for this client. The benefit base starting $926,000. Why? Because there's a 35% bonus on this. After 7 years, this client can start withdrawing $69,000 every year for the rest of their life. This is information that our community needs to know so that they can save their finances. Now, all of this great work that we do, we make a lot of money. We improve our incomes. We grow by compounded basis. As you can see on the right-hand side, my annual income is $186,000. If you look on the right side, my income for the last 6 months is about $105,000. So if I keep growing, my income for the next 1 year is going to be over 200K. And my decision is to double my income to over $400,000. You cannot do that if you're working in corporate America, because what they'll pay you is what they think you deserve, not what you deserve. Now, where are we getting all of this information from? Are we just pulling stuff from thin air? The secrets in the United States are buried in some of these books. Money, Wealth, and Life Insurance, The Power of Zero, The Retirement Miracle. Some of these books are just 95 pages long. If you take off from a flight from Houston, by the time you land in Washington and you are reading them, you'll be done reading them. But the wealth of information in them is going to change your life tremendously. Join this business, learn, and change the trajectory of your family. Now, apart from the money we make, what other flexibilities does WFG give us? All of my kids are graduating from school through honors. It takes your presence, being there to remind them to do their homework, picking them from school, dropping them, transitioning your own values and getting them right. For a parent to have their kids graduating from high school, honors, attending college with scholarship, that is phenomenal. What else does WFG give us? It gives us that time to bond with our families, to travel with our families, to live life like it's supposed to be. As you can see, That's me and my family traveling east, west, north, and south, investing in the bond that is supposed to be created in a family. Again, the trips are numerous. With finances, it's there. With flexibility of schedule, it's there. So if you're attending this call and you haven't taken a vacation for the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years with your family, you might not be in the right place. But the person who invited you to this call this night thinks highly of you and wants you to experience the same life, the same quality of life that we in WFG are experiencing. Again, the vacations are numerous. Even when we travel for training, as you can see on the top left-hand side, we're in San Diego, training there. But in the evening, we take time to go to the beach, hold hands, rejoice, thank God for the blessings that we have in doing this business. Again, the teamwork is phenomenal. Now, as you build this business, you begin to grow by compounding. You begin to recruit one person at a time. Before you know it, you become a senior associate. Before you know it, you're a marketing director. Before you know it, you are a senior marketing director. Before you know it, within a short space of time, you're doubling, tripling, quadrupling your income if you take it seriously. These are 4 senior marketing directors under my lineage. Minister Abe Fortem, Pastor Alois Okechukwu, Dr. Yusuf Ade, and the best of the best, Madam Carolina Ngo. We've popped 4, and over the next year, we're planning to pop up at least 6. Now, in corporate America, in your job that you're doing, that is not something that you can easily replicate. Again, these are marketing directors who are close to popping up as senior marketing directors within my hierarchy. Excellent business partners that I love to work with on a daily basis. These are rising stars within the group, people who are serious, people who are changing our community, one agent at a time, one policy at a time, ensuring that our families do not fall between the cracks when adversity hits. You can see them right here. Again, more rising stars within the team. And a lot of these rising stars were hesitant to join the business. But when they joined and they committed themselves towards getting that license and they studied what this business does for people, they became so excited and they want to grow. Not just because of the money they want to make, but because of the help they will be giving people. In this business, we believe that you have to think of yourself less and think of yourself more, because you have to uplift others before you uplift yourself. In this business, it's all about teamwork, because we are not a self-made success story. We're a team-made success story. And if you look right at the center of this picture here, is the person who brought me into business. Again, Ma Estela Tapong from Houston, Texas, to whom I owe a mountain of gratitude for having brought me into the business, for having trained me on how to do this business, and for having given me the opportunity to replicate myself, where I'm now replicating myself 50 times, 100 times over. You cannot do that in corporate America, because corporate America is just interested in that 2% raise that they are going to give you year after year, which again is below the rate of inflation. How do we do this business, or what does it take to do the business? A clear background check. All you need is $125 to register and do the business. An online course that is going to cost between $30 and $50, and your license by your resident state. I want to leave you guys with this last thought of the vision that we have in this business here. There are about 7 to 10 million Africans here in the United States. In about 15 years, there are going to be about 15 to 20 million Africans. The GDP of Nigeria, gross domestic product of Nigeria, is about $400 billion. The GDP of South Africa is about $400 billion. The GDP of Ghana hovers around $100 billion. But when you add the entire GDP of all the African countries, it sums up to about $2.9 to $3.1 trillion. Now, if in 10 to 15 years there are 15 million Africans, and we educate them each, just 1/3 of them, to pass a legacy of about $2 million to the next generation, $2 million times 1/3, which is 5 million Africans. You get the picture. 2 times 3 million Africans times 5, that is $15 trillion. $15 trillion is about 4 to 5 times the current GDP of the entire African continent. As Obama once said, we are the ones we have been waiting for. So if you join this call tonight, the time to take action is now. Because as Kobe Bryant said, the biggest mistake we can make in life is thinking we have time. Thank you very much, Dr. Binda, for hosting this excellent call. And thanks to each and every one of you for heeding to that call and attending this presentation tonight. Thank you, Dr. Binda.
Wow, 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 wow. That was very, very powerful. Thank you, Mr. Valentine Ghana. I appreciate you. That was very, very impactful, and I hope that you learn a lot. Our last speaker that will be speaking in this minute right now, she's Jeanette Banjoko out of Houston, Texas. Jeanette is from Nigeria, director of nursing, a lot of experience, and doing this business out of Houston. The first time I met her, she's powerful, she's Iron Lady. I want you guys to fasten your belt because we'll be closing out the session today. So if you know somebody that was here or that's supposed to be here who is not here, you have to just remind them to just give us 20 to 30 more minutes to listen to Janet. And I can assure you, they'll say thank you later at the end of Janet's session. Janet, if you're here, we appreciate you. Yes, you can take it over.
Wow, wow, wow. Good evening, everybody. I am so excited to be here tonight. Hi, Dr. Pascal Binda. Thank you so much for all you do. I am so thankful. And thank you, Mr. Valentine. Oh, wow. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a JD right there. What am I going to say tonight? So, well, I still got something for us. My name is Janet Banjoko. I live here in Houston, Texas, right? This is my family right here. I have my husband and my 2 children. Well, me and my husband, we came to this country a couple of years ago. So guess what? Like many of us, right, that we migrated from one country to another. I'm originally from Nigeria. And when I came to this country, I already had a biochemistry degree from Nigeria. But you know what? When you come to this type of country, you have to get started afresh. So I worked in many places like Amazon, like Bojangles, like all fast food restaurant you can think of. I did Melaleuca. What do you think I was looking for? I am trying to live that American dream. And then they said, you know what? You got to have a nursing degree, right? Because you used to be a biochemist from home. Why not go to school and become a nurse? So I became a CNA first, then went back to school to get my BSN and my MSN. And this you can see on the platform. These are my healthcare journey. So my BSN degree right there on the left, and when I had my MSN on the right, and the left when I had my BSN. So while I was a nurse, I kept moving from one department to another, from ICU to rehab nurse to acute nurse, detox nurse. What do you think I was looking for? Extra $2, right? Just for me to be able to meet up, right? To support my husband. And there was never enough until then I found myself to the peak. I became a director of nursing. And then at that time, I thought that I was going to be doing so well, so fine. But guess what? I realized that the higher I climb, the more I don't have time for a lot of stuff. No family time, no enough time to serve God, right? Because I'm always on call. 2 a.m. I'm being called. 5 a.m. a nurse called out. 1 p.m. every time, no family time, no vacation, nothing. The only thing I keep getting back is stressed. So I was so stressed so much that I kept praying to God. I said, God, there must be a way. They said America is a land full of opportunity. And while I was praying to God, right, And guess what? The transition happened. God actually brought this wonderful woman to me, EVC Rebecca Aremu, my mentor. So she looked for me, she found me. She was like, wow, girl, there are better things out there. Let me show you. But let me tell you one thing she first told me. She said, you are a director of nursing, right? And you are working too hard. Most families are one diagnosis or job loss away from financial crisis, but that doesn't have to be your story. So when I heard that, I'm like, because she now asked me another question. She said, how many days forward could you survive if you stop working today? So when she asks those questions, everybody, you know that I'm a nurse, right? And I've seen a lot because I've seen people who have stroke, who had that attack cancer that we're taking care of, right? And they end up in the long-term care. But there is one thing when she asked me that question, she said, you know what, if you don't have an income protection account in place, right? How are you going to be able to take care of yourself just in case like this happened? And that's the reason why I bring this up, right? He said, why not get life insurance with living benefits that comes with this? So chronic, if somebody had a chronic illness like heart attack, stroke, cancer, or they're going through dialysis, ALS, they have major organ transplant, blindness, paralysis, or they have Parkinson and Alzheimer's, angioplasty, or AIDS. Or what if they become disabled or life happens? They can't do 2 out of 6 activities of daily living. They cannot bathe by themselves. They cannot dress by themselves, right? That what is the account that is in place to serve as income protection? And then when we have this, myself and my husband, we took action. We secure ourselves, we secure the family. And because income protection account is key, we are realizing that we have seen it a lot, especially among the African community. You know, you are working very hard, but you don't have this kind of a thing, this account in place. Life insurance with living benefits. And when life happens, what do we see in our community? GoFundMe. Now, let me now tell you when the turnaround happened for me. 2023, January 30th, the day I will never forget. A particular company had called me as a director of nursing. They said, Janet, we need you to come and help us. We want you to travel to our city and help us train our new nurses and CNAs so that they can learn how to run the system very well. I said, okay. Guess what? That journey for me was just 52 minutes drive. I have driven 50 minutes. 2 minutes for me to get to that facility. Oh, bam. And before you know it, I had somebody crashed into me. I opened my eyes 3 hours later at the hospital. By the time I opened my eyes, I was already in the hospital. I didn't even know what was going on. The picture you are seeing there was after they already finished taking care of me, right? That's when I could have the chance to take pictures. So by the time I woke up, I was so much in pain. I don't know if I have had any breakage in my body system because the pain was so unbearable. Oh, because of how much they complain, how much are they going to pay me? I started thinking, God, I hope I'm not disabled. I hope something major had not happened. But let me show you something, right? You remember when she talked to me, my mentor, right, about this account. I want you to look at something because we are saying things and I want you to see it in reality. One of my policies, this is how it was designed then, right? This policy just got approved, and a couple of days later, that was when I got into the accident. Picture this, everybody. God forbid, let's say life actually happened, like my enemy become disabled at a time. Can you imagine? Because I did a $1 million policy, and when that policy got approved, you see what is called chronic illness rider that comes to the policy says that if someone cannot do 2 out of 6 activities of daily living based on the severity of the situation, the person will be paid 90% of whatever they sign up for. So that is that person I would have been paid up to $900,000. What if somebody had cancer, they had stroke, they are going through dialysis, and they have this income protection account in place, right? Based on the severity, right? For this $1 million policy, that person would have had up to $900,000. Now imagine this. What if the physician says that somebody have less than 12 months to live, regardless of any illness, right? And guess what? This policy would have paid out $1 million. My people, That was the change of everything, because when you do something and you did not even realize it until something that happened about the accident came close, then I really understand how the American system works. I said the reason why a lot of people are not exposed to this, and then they end up doing GoFundMe when life happens to them. Guess what? These are many of other policies that we got from different companies, Transamerican, Nationwide, Pacific, for myself, my husband, my children. And now, you know what? When that situation happened, right? What I did was I said, you know what? I have gotten my license 2 months prior to that, but I didn't do nothing. Guess what? I dumped my scrubs, and I said, I am going to go into our community and tell them about this beautiful thing, because we are on a rescue mission. So I am speaking to your heart tonight. If this is the first time, especially if you're a guest and you got invited on this platform tonight, income protection account is key. I have seen a lot of people, when you talk to them, they said, you know what, I have stocks, I have Bitcoin, I have 401k, I have IRA, I have money in my checking account. Please, when life happens, like what happened to me, have you saved up to 900,000 since you've been in America? Do you have 1 million saved somewhere to take care of you in case life like that happens, right? I want you to look at this umbrella, right? All these black umbrellas that you're seeing. Let me tell you what they are. This is like your husband, your wife, the children, your job, your mortgage, your car, right? Everything that you think that you own, right? This is it. And this yellow umbrella is a protection. Do you see the point? This yellow umbrella must be able to cover all the black umbrellas. That is how you can be safe in America. Do you see the point? Because protection should be the foundation of everything. The protection account should be the foundation of everything before you start thinking of any other investment right out there. Now, let me ask you these important questions. If you are here on this call tonight, if you are a married person, you be professing love to your wife. Oh, I love you so much. Or you are telling your husband, I love you so much. Now, let me ask you, and you don't have this account in place. I'm going to ask you these provoking questions because I want you to think about it. That is the reason why we are here tonight, to be able to educate and empower you the importance of you living in America and understanding the financial system. The first one says, do you have a spouse? Imagine if you were diagnosed with cancer or had a stroke and couldn't work. Would your spouse be able to handle the bills alone? That's the question you got to answer. But hey, what if you have had this kind of account in place, the income protection account with living benefits? He said living benefits give them immediate access to funds so they are not left struggling. Don't just profess love with your mouth. You got to act. That is what we're talking about in our community. Do you have children? God has given you those children as heritage, right? As blessings to you. But what are your own things? How are you protecting them? How are you taking care of them? So if something serious happens to you as a father or as a mother, how would your children's lifestyle or education be affected? Living benefits in the Index Universal Life Policy provide money during your lifetime to cover treatment or replace lost income so your kids stay protected. They are not begging strangers. They are not begging Uncle Smith on the corner of the road. Do you see the point now? So because you are able to put something in place to take care of them, do you have parents? If you got critically ill, would your parents feel pressured to step in financially? Living benefits can prevent your family from dipping into their own savings to take care of you. Do you own or rent a home? If you could not work for 6 months due to illness, how will the mortgage or rent get paid? Do you see the point? Living benefits give you the cash flow to keep a roof over your head. Because we have seen it a lot that people get critically ill. They have stroke, they have cancer, they're in the hospital. Now they have this mortgage they could not afford, they could not pay. Then the house goes through foreclosure. Or they ended up living in shelter. It doesn't have to be your story. If you know how to live right in America, right? Do you have a car? Car payment, insurance, gas, they don't stop if you are sick. Living benefits give you access to funds so you don't lose your transportation. Now, let me ask you this question. Do you have a job? Because when I talk to some people, you know what they tell me? Yeah, I have something through my job. My friend, let me tell you this. Most jobs don't pay pay you if you are out long term with an illness. However, if you have this kind of account set up, the living benefit will act like your own private paycheck when your employer stops. Do you see the point now? So that you can continue to live, though you don't have that job again, but then you have money that keeps coming in to take care of you. Do you have investments? So I'm talking to my people who are doing stocks, Bitcoin, crypto, all those things that is out there, right? If you got sick, would you want to sell off your investment at the wrong time to cover your bills? Living benefit allows you to keep your investment intact and growing while still covering expenses. You see the reason why I said protection comes first before investment, right? Do you have a big vision for your future? Because we have to talk about all of this. You might have a big dream. You might have this big future or vision ahead of you. Your vision is priceless. Nobody can take that from you. The living benefits make sure one medical crisis doesn't wipe it all away. They give you financial flexibility so you can still move forward with your goals. Because somebody is critically ill today because they are down with cancer or stroke or they are going through dialysis, that does not mean their dream have to die. If they have an income protection account in place that have this living benefits, it will surely take care of you. And I'm talking from the depth of my heart. Let me tell you the reason why I'm actually hammering this part. When I was in the nursing field and I was a director of nursing, I had worked in one of the facility, right, that people that does not have this kind of account, they end up in nursing home that they are being fed with pasta with no sauce. They are the one you see walking on the road, on the street, and then they get hit by the car and they pass away. And where the last place I had worked, when the WFG called me, let me tell you, I didn't even understand this type of account, but I was imagining this place. Let me tell you now, there are only Jewish and Caucasians in that facility, 90 of them. Can you guess what? They have their own chef. They have the people taking care of them. Let me tell you, every month they were paying $15,000 out of pocket. They are not depending on government. They are not depending on family because they have set this type of account ahead. So when life happens, I just noticed that nationwide we're sending them check. Pacific are the one paying that facility every month. National Life Group are the one paying them every month. But I didn't understand. I kept asking, who are these people? Right? So even though they are sick, they're in a facility, but they are still living their best life. They are even still wealthy than the people taking care of them. Can you imagine? Right. Now, I know Dr. Pascal have already touched this, but just in case you didn't join when Dr. Pascal was talking about it, index universal life policies are governed by IRS session. So if you are thinking and doubting, is this real? Yes, it's real. Do you know because it is governed by IRS section 7702, it allows cash value to grow tax defined in it. Now let's look at the living parts that are living benefit part that I've been talking about. The living benefit part are governed by IRS section 101. It is a tax code. When I discovered the elite, the wealthy people, they actually live off on elite tax code. That was when things started changing. Do you know why? Because the payout out of this kind of policy, the payouts are generally received entirely income tax free if the insured is certified to be critically, chronically, or terminally ill. Can you imagine in America? And then you are not exposed to it. But now we are telling you that yes, whatever we are telling you tonight is backed what? By tax codes, by the elite tax code. Now, this is for the people that are still doubting again. When you go to a vehicle company, let's say you want to drive a Tesla, and you go into that Tesla company, you want to buy a car. The first thing they ask you is that before you move that car out of the parking lot, you got to show your proof of insurance before you can drive that car off. Even if you don't have insurance, right there, you are calling 800 number, you are talking to a total strangers, and you are getting that car insurance because you want to drive that car. But Jenny Banjoko will come to you and you will say, I got to think about it. Are you kidding me right now? Now, the second set of people is that when you get that house, maybe you are renting or you are having a mortgage. When you close on the house, they will not let you move in until you have a mortgage insurance or rental insurance. Why do you think the American system puts so much value on insurances, right? That is what it is. And now you are the one living in the house. You are the one driving that car, and you are protecting all of these things but the person working so hard is not protected. Then you are now trying, you are not saying, I want to go and research it. Let me look at Google. Let me do chat GPT. Are you kidding me now? Then when life happens, then your family are out there begging for money for GoFundMe. This has to stop. Because that's why some of us are licensed to actually educate ourselves properly. That you cannot be insuring those things that are perishable, that are liabilities, and a whole you that God has given you life to be able to enjoy, and you're not protecting yourself. So you have to protect yourself today, your spouse today, your children today, right? And then I'll skip this because, let me quickly talk one or two lines about it, because Mr. Valentin already spoke about it too. You can imagine all of this thing you see XXX. These are the ones that the middle class, right, that they have 401k, IRA, Roth. Can you see the reason why the middle class struggles in debt? But the elite account, they are index annuities and life insurance, right? Those are what? They are backed by the elite tax code. So if you want, and I look at our people, you have worked so hard for many years, right? And then you put your money, most of your money, in all of these accounts. And when life happens, that's the one the government freezes again. Can you imagine? Why not just do what the elites are doing, so that when you are alive, you are enjoying life comfortably, and at the final day, when you are gone, then your family too are enjoying, right? It's called generational wealth. So let's leave death and sickness alone. Do you know that when you have this type of account, you can take money in it while you are alive? This is one of the chat from one of our team members, right? Last year, he just needed some money, went into his policy and pulled out $30,000. He's still well alive, healthy, and just used the money to buy whatever he wants to buy. So you remember when I was telling you 77202, right? Cash value tax deferred. This is what it is. You can go into your account, right, while you are alive and enjoy the money. And now let's talk about this company. Dr. Pascal has talked about them. Mr. Valentin has talked about them. These companies have been in existence over 100 years. They are the ones that are actually giving us these resources and tools, right, to be able to leverage on them so that we can all live a comfortable life. Have this income protection account in place. By the time I totally get this, that I understand how the system works. I got my license in many states in America. And let me show you something. If you are looking left or right, and you think that, oh, can I do this? Yes, you can. Because I'm going to show you something. Within 1 year, just this past 1 year, going out, telling people how good they have to have this kind of account in place, that they have to be able to have a good retirement. They have to have collect savings for their children. They have to have that vacation, that dream vacation. I didn't even know. Me, I was just on a rescue mission trying to help people out there. And guess what? WFG turned around and paid me $276,000 in 1 year. I didn't make this when I was working as a director of nursing. The highest I made was $120,000. Meanwhile, out of the $120,000, I still have to pay a lot back in taxes. Can you imagine? And this is the benefit of us being on this platform. Can you see? And after that, while I was doing this, due to power of mentorship, thank you, Mrs. Rebecca Aremu and COO Aremu. And then my incredible, super duper awesome mentor, Mr. Daniel Fombo. They held my hand. They said, yes, let's keep building. As you are learning this, we want you to keep pouring to others. And guess what? We are able to produce other leaders within 6 months. They came out and yes, they are doing well for themselves. And by the time they are building their own agency, we got recognized again by the company and we became an executive marketing director. Can you imagine? Nobody caps your milestone in this company. Nobody caps your cash flow. And guess what? We have another set of leaders coming up already that we are building so that they too they can be a senior broker. And yes, this is our team, Team Liberation Stars. Can you imagine? This is us. This is us. Just in May, all these wonderful people came from different parts of from the country and flew to Houston, Texas, where I live in my office, where we gathered together, we pour more into ourselves because we want to continue to go on this rescue mission. We came together and learn more of what we do, how we can be able to take care of our community. Can you see all these beautiful people? And all of them are climbing higher and higher. Guess what? In this company. And then this is the Las Vegas convention. We just came back from convention convention just a couple of days ago. You can see some of us right here, and we were so happy being together, learning more and leveraging on the convention platform. And then I came back from convention. I came back from convention on Saturday, came back to got home from convention back to my place in Houston, Texas, and I saw this in the mail. You remember when Dr. Pascal was teaching, he said that when you get to a level in the company, right, Aegon, they give us shares. I received this award. This is the second time I'm getting this award. This is money right here, my people. This is part of wealth transfer that we are talking about. And now let me show you another thing. Apart from getting that, these are, all these companies are in our hierarchy. They just give us, they send us out. We go on trips. This was a trip that we went to, that they picked some of us. They said, well, you guys are top leaders. You are doing wonderful. Let's just have it. This was a fully paid expense trip that we were paid for. You can see Dr. Pascal right here. This is me right here. I'm kneeling beside Dr. Pascal right there. See Dr. Pascal. This is my mentor, Mrs. Rebecca Emu. This is Mr. Daniel Fombo. We are all there, right, for good 3 days. And the companies, they were pouring into us, right? And guess what? I came back from church yesterday. I came back. I was just relaxing. Then I got ping on my phone. In March, Isi Daniel Fombo has said that, all these leaders, if you're a senior marketing director, executive marketing directors, by the end of June, if you do this and that, you will qualify to go on a trip on St. Martin. Let me tell you, I was not even thinking about this trip. I was just building. I was just on a rescue mission. Then I got this. And I was screaming so loud yesterday. Guess what? I'm already packing my bag because it's going to be a fully paid trip. That this is how our leaders are pouring into us. And so if you are out there, I want you to think, if you are working, right, how many times are your company pouring into you? How many times are they pouring into you? How many times are they sending you on a fully paid trip vacation? How many times do you have time for your children, for your family, right? So this platform has given us the financial freedom, right? So that we can be able to practice our faith, have fun, right? Be able to practice fitness, be able to have financial freedom in every way. So you can imagine. And guess what? For some of us, this is the reason why we're doing this. The business inheritance and wealth transfer. Dr. Pascal talked about it, right? Because the business we are building today, right, it can be passed over to your spouse, to your children, to your grandchildren. My own nursing license, right? Even though I had so many education through my degrees and certification, I cannot give it to my 2 children right now. They cannot use it to practice with it. But hey, with just the code, they can continue the legacy for whenever I stop. I don't have to pass away before I stop. When I build to some level, they can just take over. In fact, they are 10 and 11 and they're already learning the business right now. They're already learning how it is being done. And that is what we are trying to tell our community, right? Because whatever you do as a father, that's what your son will mimic. Whatever you do as a mother, that's what your mother will mimic. If your son knows that, daddy is never home, daddy always work 3 jobs, they will think that's the right thing. They will wake up, and when they get to that level, they will have 3 jobs. If they see that mommy was never home to cook, mommy was never home to be there for the assignment, because mommy is always at a job, that is what they think America's system is designed on. What are you building today that you're going to pass on to your children? And I can tell you, what financial group is that platform that has given us this platform to be able to build inheritance and wealth transfer for our children. So every day I wake up, because I know I'm on a rescue mission. I drive to my office and just West Ham Road on Houston, Texas every day, because I know one conversation, right, for one family, to a business owner, to an entrepreneur, somebody got to hear what we do. We're going to keep changing lives. We're going to keep improving lives. Now to our guests, I have 2 major takeaways for you. I know you have heard a lot from Dr. Pascal, from Mr. Valentine. And I want to say this. The 2 major takeaways I want you to take home with you is that if you don't have the account we'll be talking about in place, get protected today. Have an income protection account in place. And then, if you feel like, yes, you've been working so hard, right? We're not saying you should quit your job, no. But instead of you doing overtime, extra time, and you don't have time for yourself, why not get a license too? You can get the license within 1 week, 3 days to 1 week. Just study by your state. And guess what? When you get that license, you'll be able to educate and empower others and start creating an extra income for yourself. And I'm going to leave you with this Bible passage to our guests. Deuteronomy 8:18. It said, "But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth." You already have the power in you. WFG is sharing the wealth. We have a lot of work to do, my brothers and sisters. Just get your license today and create that wealth for you, for yourself and your family, because you already got the power. And let me finish it. He said that he may establish his covenant. It is already a covenant. God has already covenant with you that you will get wealth. Right? He has given you that power. That's why we are calling you to come and be part of us today, so that you too you can start generating that word for yourself, because it's covenant which you swear unto thy father as it is this day. To all our licensed professionals. So if you have been here and you have been busy, you have been working, whether you are seeing results or not, I want to encourage you. Just keep going, because the word of God in Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap the harvest if we do not give up." Now, let me tell you, the second half of the year will be the best. Do you know why licensed financial professionals on this call tonight? Because very soon we'll be celebrating the next SMD. We'll be celebrating the next EMD. We'll be celebrating the next CEO. We'll be celebrating the next EVC. We'll be celebrating the next SCVC. We'll be celebrating the next FC. You'll be celebrating the next EC. So let's keep winning champions. And I'm so proud to all of you who have stayed to the end. Thank you so much, everybody, for staying to the end. Thank you so much, Dr. Pascal Binda. And I appreciate every one of you for staying to the end. God bless you all. God bless you all. Let's keep winning champions. We are on a rescue mission. I love you all and have a blessed night. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much, Janet. You brought down the house. I told you so. I told you that the power lady will close us out. So with that, we come to the end of this powerful Power Talk Monday, the first after the convention, and we'll be closing with some convention speeches. So thank you all so much, and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I need no more introduction. I mean, I was just like somebody coming here today. I was sitting somewhere right there around 2019. You know what? In fact, somebody got on this stage and say, how many of you have been raised by a single mom? How does it mean for a single mom to raise 4 kids and 4 kids can take care of a single mother? That was it for me. I went back home, made the decision. Since then, my life has never been the same again. Now, why do I love WFG? I mean, about 2 months ago, I was in the Caribbean island, Harrison, bonding with my team. And I had a phone call from a client I had. That was my first client in 2019. The guy just called me and said, Emmanuel is bad. I said, what happened? He said, my son just slumped. My daughter just slumped in the library and died. Trust me, that was my first policy. I was like, what? I went online, Transamerica, checked the policy. This guy hasn't paid the policy for 2.5 years. It was inactive. And that was the death claim that was delivered. That is what is possible when it comes to our industry. Now I'm going to give you some little pointers here. When it comes to make what is possible in this business, the power of what is possible is a theme of this convention this year. You better take responsibility, because nobody ever arrived at any future without taking any responsibility. Number two, you want to be committed. Commitment is very, very important. The price tag of every accomplishment in life is commitment. And as you're going to go to the next one, please make God the center of everything. You know why? Because it takes foolishness. It takes foolishness to be shameful for what it is gainful. What is gainful. Remember, no matter what you do as a man, still the foolishness of God is still wiser, bigger than the wisdom of all men. You God. I'm still going to tell you one thing is very, very important. Diligence is very, very important. You want to power what is possible, you must be diligent. It says what? Seest thou a man diligent in his business? It says, shall walk, stand before kings and not mean men. Diligence is very, very important. And this, the next thing I want to tell you, want to power what is possible, you better be disciplined. Discipline is very, very important. Listen to this. It takes disciplines to keep thriving in life. Billy Graham said one thing. He said what? Some temptation comes to what? To all men. He said the what? All temptations come to the idle. So please, be disciplined, get to work, get something doing. And I'll tell you this, Mike Murdoch says something very, very important. So there are two pains in life. If you're not having much to know about these two pains, it's very, very important. The pain of what? The pain of regret and the pain of discipline. You must be disciplined to power what is possible. And I'm going to conclude with this. It's very, very important. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you one thing. You need grace to accomplish anything. People often ask me, why is this happening for you? I say, because there's something, there's grace that is given to all above, a man above, which is God. You need grace to accomplish everything. When you know what to do, guess what? There's a grace to accomplish it. It's called a doing grace. And you need that doing grace to accomplish things in life. The last thing I'm going to tell you what your choices you make is important to power what is possible. What kind of choices are you making right now? Trust me, it says what? It's very, very important to make good choices, right? I always tell most people, I say your choices. Somebody tells me, Emmanuel, oh my God, my sins are not working well for me. I say, because you're lazy. If you're lazy, it's a choice. Don't worry, diligent is a choice. Ending poverty is a choice. Generational curses is a choice. Getting a bigger team, like you see the team celebrating today, 5 MVP last couple days ago, is a choice. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm also going to tell you this. It says what? Lead not to your own understanding. It's a choice. You get it? In all their ways, it's a choice. And I'll tell you what, you shall lead your path. It's a choice. Today, make your choice. And I'm going to conclude with this, very, very important. There was this man who fell in a deep dish. As this man fell in a dish, the man cried, help me, somebody help me. And guess what? Somebody came, wrote a note, dropped, it says what? I am a physician. When you get out of this hole, meet me, I will treat you for free. And the guy kept crying, please somebody help me, please somebody help me. The next person came, look at him right down, the guy looked up, I wrote a note, say, I am what? A lawyer. When you get out of this ditch, I will sue the company that dug this hole and didn't put something like a cover so nobody can fall here. The man cried, help me. The guy was gasping for air. The man was dry, saliva, being so metallic, crying, please help me, please help me, please help me. And here comes somebody. The man looked at him right down and jumped into the pit. And the guy looked at him and said, how foolish can you be? I asked for help and you just jumped there. And now we are all stuck in this hole. The guy looked at him. In his eyes, I've been here before. And I know the way out.
The way out.
Some of you are here today. It's your first time to be in this convention. Somebody brought you here because they know the way out. Some of you are going through the valley of despair today. Somebody brought you here because they know the way out. Some of you are going through some marital challenges today. Somebody brought you here because they know the way out. Some of you are going through some crazy valley of despair, difficulties, trials, tribulation. Somebody brought you here today because they know the way out. And when you find that person, who brought you here because of the way out, please stick with that person because they got the solution. When you find a person, stick with them. Yes. Come on with them. Yes. Walk with them. Find my own. I find that reality. It's called that level. Yes. I stick with them. I find that one. Martin Wendy. I stick with him. And when you stick with him, if God takes you through that wilderness, that is how.